Hi everyone, I am Amit. I welcome you all to the From the Scratch podcast episode. I know that, and even you guys 100% agree on this, that in this lockdown period, food was the one thing which we have explored a lot, like this 5 6 months, and especially ladies. And they learned many new recipes, also like created Instagram accounts, and few started taking orders too. So this has become a hobby, and for a few, a business. So today we are going to discuss every nook about what exactly is a cloud kitchen, how to start a cloud kitchen business, the opportunity and the growth of this food industry. So today with us we have a guest from the food industry. He is a trainer and a coach, trained 1500 plus across 8 states, and number one author on the hospitality industry. So with not wasting much time, introducing to the man himself, Manvir Singh Anand. Hi Manvir.
Thank you so much, Amit. I really appreciate that. And like I said, it's a very interesting initiative you've picked up, and congratulations to you for that. Of letting people know at least about the industry, because it's a very lucrative industry at this time. So, like I said, thanks for having me, and over to you. Any questions you have, please bring
Yes,
it on.
I
Yeah.
have listed down few questions because even I am something you will know something very well, but like just before this, hope so you are safe and well with this all this COVID scene happening. And yeah,
So while I am well, the world is not well, and the industry, like I said, while it's picking up, but it's not at the pace which we used to do in an actual conventional business. But like I said, it's really created a lot of new opportunities, and that's the beauty of the times currently. But like they say that whatever when the times are tough, the tough gets going, and that's exactly what is the beauty of current times, and that's how we are leveraging it to the fullest right now with whatever we can do. Yeah. So
got it.
all well. Hope all is well with you and the listeners. Here.
Same,
So
same
yeah.
here.
I
Just
mean that's
hoping
what I
for
can say.
everyone. Yeah, hoping for everyone are safe and good. So Manvir,
Yeah.
like the statement which I've given, like what's your opinion regarding the exploration of food and the food entrepreneurs during this lockdown period?
I mean, it's a very interesting observation I have seen. Post the pandemic, that there have been that absolute shift in the trends which we used to see earlier. So earlier, while there were trends of cloud kitchens, there was every industry in itself was growing within the way I call it as the niche broadly. So there's a catering niche, there is a restaurant niche, there is a cloud kitchen niche, there is a QSR, which is a quick service restaurant niche. But like I said, all the trends have taken a back seat, and it's only the cloud kitchen and the catering space which is really seeing the kind of surge which nobody had anticipated. And like I say, it is largely attributed to the rise of the home chef and home baker concept, which was there since ages, but now is when they've actually got the kind of leverage they were anticipating. So like I said, uh, these are while these have been very unprecedented times, but they've given a chance of the way I call, your solopreneurship, and solopreneurship has really become not a fad but an actual truth for a lot of people, where in which people are being able to build a job for themselves rather than trying to look out for jobs, because like I said, there's rampant unemployment, and I think food is one of the industries which is the most capital light business which anyone is able to start. So like I said, the sky's the limit, but with respect to the niche in the food business, it's the first time that the entire odds have shifted towards only two niche rather than the scope being in other niche also, like which I was telling you about, restaurant, dining space, and QSR space. So like I said, these are beautiful times to be at least in the catering and the cloud kitchen space.
Okay. But one thing from your statement, you told the word as capital light.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
can you elaborate that?
So, when I say capital light, every business needs certain amount of investment to start their particular business, right? Now, if you think about the conventional thought, there are three concepts which everyone tells you, which you would have heard a lot of old, I would say relatively old people, mentioning about roti, kapda, and makan. These are the three most conventional businesses of sorts which have given employment to thousands of people across the world, and not thousands, I would say millions of people across the world, in fact billions to be precise. And while I talk about like Kapada and Makan, which is real estate and the garment industry, it is still a relatively high capital intensive business, because you need to you need to actually invest massively into infrastructure. You need to invest in stocks and so on and so forth. Now, when we talk about the food industry, the beauty is what, that in today's time, the capital requirement for, or the investment requirement for a business has really come down due to the beauty of catering and cloud kitchens. Because of which, what has happened is that you can start your business in as less than 50,000 rupees, going up to whatever the sky is the limit. But it is given the democratic right to a lot of people to start their business from the comfort of their homes. There is no other business opportunity right now which I can see, which is being, which a person can start with such a minimal investment and actually build a fortune around that. So that's why I said it's a very capital light, asset light, wherein which you don't need to really invest into assets, kind of a business which anyone can start. So that's why, like I said, uh, it's an unprecedented time, but like I said, the opportunity which it brings is huge for a lot of people. Yeah.
Beautiful. That is, it is tempting. And yeah, the like
Yeah.
giving the awareness to the audience, to the viewers, like about the cloud kitchen. Like before
Yeah.
this also there was a term called as cloud storage, so people did not know what cloud storage is. They thought like आसमान में कहाँ तो भी storage हो रहा है. So like says the term
Absolutely.
become, with the food came the cloud kitchen. So could you
Yeah.
please brief the audience about what exactly is cloud kitchen?
So cloud kitchen, while I have my own definition for it, I always call the cloud kitchen to be a data and brand business. But like I said, I leave it for people, who basically reach out to me, and we discuss that with them in detail. But typically, in theory, it is it is a restaurant without a dining space, wherein which you get orders online pretty much. It's an internet first restaurant. Okay, that is what I say in theory, wherein which you don't need to invest into a dining space, and you basically get orders online, and you are supposed to deliver them through either an aggregator or in-house rider strength. So that is what it is. But the problem is that a lot of people end up thinking that this is just a food delivery business, home delivery business. And that is where I tell them that the business model is so advanced because of players like Rebel Foods, which is the owner of Fasos and Behro's Biryani and so on and so forth. Or we talk about a box set or a fresh menu. The concept has evolved so much that now it is shifted from a food business to a data and brand business. Because one thing is for sure, that food, if you're getting into the food business, you have to deliver good food irrespective. But where do you evolve is the data and brand side. And like I said, we'll discuss more in the podcast about that. But hope you understood that it's a very, I would say, very convenient form of starting your own restaurant business per se at the current times. If you understood what I tried to say.
Got totally understand. Totally understand. Like I'm very much
Yeah.
interested in the food industry. Like even I have few plans
Yeah.
of opening something of my own. And like,
Yeah. Interesting.
if not me, I thought of taking few franchisee. So
Yeah. Yeah.
like in a brief way, for example, through points, like point
Mhm.
by point or step by step, like how can
Mhm.
someone start their cloud kitchen? Like any certification
Interesting.
required, like chefs, any layman.
I will tell you.
Yeah.
So one thing I'll just quickly tell you, uh, somewhere or the other, the beauty of the food industry is what? No matter what industry you might be a part of, someone somewhere deep down has that inkling of starting a food business at some point in time in his life, And like I said, you're no different. I'm no different. I always fall in love with food businesses. My investors and my partners always have this other issue with me, that somewhere or the other, even though my strength has been B2B sales, but I always have a lot of passion for retail businesses. And like I said, while you told me that you also want to start up, I'm like, everywhere I meet someone, everyone wants to start a food business. Coming specifically to your point, how do you start a cloud kitchen business? Now, there's an entire step-by-step process for how you start a cloud kitchen. And like I said, we do a detailed session when we do our webinars and so on and so forth. But try to tell you in a brief steps around
Yeah.
the 6-7 major steps, what you need to take. First and foremost aspect is to understand that this is not a home delivery business. It is about winning the mind. The first thing is about winning the mind and understanding that you will not make money through retail profits. You know, this is a very revolutionary concept wherein which if you start counting that, I'll send 100 portions of dal makhani and I will make X amount of money and I'll become a rich guy overnight. That's not how this business works. This is more or less a brand business wherein which you have to build and think like a brand, because eventually you are living in the cloud, right? The concept of cloud kitchen comes in from the fact is that nobody knows where you are located. People have to see your brand and only then they get attracted towards that. So first thing when you're starting a cloud kitchen business is to understand that you are building a brand and not a simple home delivery business, which just delivers food. Okay, so brand also would be directly, coinciding with the thought of adding a level of experience to it. तभी उस business में कोई फायदा है नहीं तो कोई फायदा ही नहीं है. दूसरा point आता है, which is to understand, which is the second point, which I keep telling a lot of people that is to figure out your niche. This is something which has really come up post the pandemic specifically, because now is when if you see the portfolio of Rebel Foods also, you will not find a doing everything for everyone kind of a brand. You won't find generic brands. You won't find a brand who does Indian also, Chinese also, continental also. वो जो होता था ना पहले टाइम में ढाबा टाइप का कॉन्सेप्ट सब कुछ डाल दिया एक साथ. Now is the time of not only figuring out your niche, which is with respect to cloud kitchen, it is also about getting specific that if you want to do Indian food, what is the kind of Indian food you want to do? Do you want to do North Indian, South Indian? You want to do Western Indian, Maharashtrian? You want to do Bengali food? Build your micro niche. Nowadays you can build a brand around tikkas, kebabs, biryani. Maharashtrian food itself. You can build a brand around litti chokha itself. Something which is looking like far-fetched recipes, and you just build a brand around that and build monopoly in that. Now is not the time of giving everything to everyone. So the second point, like I always tell people, is to build your specific niche with respect to what you really want to do and build your brand around that. You should not have around 10 cuisines in your menu, because the customer gets confused, and the customer, when he's ordering from you online, he needs to remember one thing, that he's ordering from you because of that one particular signature cuisine which you specialize in. Next comes in is about understanding the third most important aspect about your location. What location you really want to set up. The beauty of the cloud kitchen industry nowadays is that you don't really need to invest into multiple lakhs and crores, to actually find a good retail location. Something I keep telling people, which is often said in the restaurant industry, that location. One of the most important things in the restaurant industry. That's absolutely not the case. When we talk about the cloud kitchen industry, you just have to be in the 5-kilometer radius of your customer, and you're good to go. So the third most important critical aspect is to understand कि आपकी niche के according, where do you find a good connect? Where do you find a good catchment area? So location becomes the third and most, I won't say most important aspect, but it's a critical factor, because you have to really optimize on the cost bit. Something which we delve deep down into our personal sessions. Then comes the fourth aspect, which is to do with licenses. Now, the beauty of the licenses is that the hard part about India is that the more you get compliant, the more you get entangled yourself. So you have to just focus on the basics, that whatever 4 or 5 major compliances which you need, one of the most important aspects is to get a food license, food registration done, which is under FSSAI, which is Food Safety Standards Authority of India. Just a basic registration under that, and you can probably list across all platforms. So like I said, the fourth point is getting your licenses in place. Then comes the fifth part, which is to do with your staffing, your staffing protocols, how many people you really need to hire. I always keep telling my team members internally, and my community members, who are basically part of my community, I tell them that there are 4 things you need to understand: whom to hire, whom to partner with, whom to probably outsource, and whom to ideally keep as your vendor. You understand? Now this is a very powerful line I'm trying to tell you, that sometimes you don't need to do everything yourself. You need to harness the power of other people and try to come up with a profitable menu rather than trying to really have a lot of staff onto you, because then the economics of a cloud kitchen does not really work out. And then comes the sixth and the most important aspect, which is about marketing your brand. No matter what you do, howsoever good menu and the resources you put in, if you don't have a brand story, and if I can't relate with your brand, the first point I told you is to think like a brand. Seventh point is to market that brand, and that brand needs to exude certain amount of integrity, quality, and certain level of, I would say, experience. I always tell a lot of people is that food in actuality is an experiential business. एक experience का business है ये. This is not typically just a commodity. Dal chawal खा लिया, कड़ी चावल खा लिया. That, if you're trying to get into that kind of a market, it's not the right business for you. Why I tell you is because you will not be able to make money. Point is to charge 500 rupees for an item which costs around 50 rupees only. Now, how do you do that is a question you need to answer yourself. You know what I mean? That is the skill of an entrepreneur, right? That how do you charge 5x, 6x multiple for something which costs only 50, 60 rupees. And that is what I tell a lot of people, that we really need to assess this aspect. And lastly, most important is to understand something which I often say, something called a value creation funnel. कि customer को कैसे आप लेके आते हैं अपने system में. Nowadays, the market has changed. Amit, specifically, I'll tell you, because अब वो time गया जब people would be ordering from you because you were the oldest restaurant in the vicinity. Nowadays, people order from you because they get a community vibe out of you, right? कि community बनाइए, एक tribe जिसे कहते हैं digital में, कहते हैं digital tribe बनाना, And if you see a biryani by kilo, you see a rebel for that matter, they're doing a fantastic job in terms of building a community around your food. That while they are the premise is their food, but they do a lot of conversation around the food. तो एक value creation funnel होता है जहाँ से आप एक कस्टमर को लेके आते हैं अपने सिस्टम के अंदर, and through that system you basically try to engage, build a relationship with him, and try to create more brands, more cuisines, and try to use that entire circle to get more sales opportunities. You understand?
Got it. Like
so,
a funnel.
Like I said, it's more like a value creation funnel, which I always say that if you are able to do that, you'll be able to build a more profitable company. So like I said, this is a step-by-step process. अगर ये 7 point किसी को भी समझ में आ गए ठीक से, I am telling you that I have seen this across my portfolios that they genuinely start making some serious money, because like I said, a lot of people fail in this business because they always think that just by listing yourself on a Swiggy, Zomato, orders will start coming in and you will start making money. That seldom never happens. And उस case में होता क्या है that they eventually end up not only losing money, they start condemning the industry, which is the worst thing. Food industry has made 8% of the billionaires in the entire world. So, like I said, it's a genuine opportunity and a genuine leverage point for a lot of people. I think I started my career with a management consulting firm, but the beauty is that the food business gives employment to people from all backgrounds, not even discriminating on the fact that whether you're a chef or whether you've been a hotel management graduate. So, like I said, if you follow these 7 steps, you'll be absolutely a success in this particular industry. I can assure you on that particular point. So hope that was a long answer, but my intent was to give you absolute clarity on the same. Yeah,
that was really great, crisp, to the point, and very insightful. And yeah, there was you really made it to the point, and it was direct. It was really value providing people. One more thing, guys, if you're listening, Manvir sir have a special course. So okay, I'm not staying to leave. Be till the end, know about the brief, like know about the journey, what actually the cloud kitchen everything is. But sir is providing a detailed course about where you can start. Actually, it's a 5-day workshop, sir, right?
While yes, it's a cloud kitchen challenge. Yeah, cloud kitchen challenge. It's a 5-day. More like a challenge. Is what we call. Because what we do,
they can be at a level, at a certain point they can be after.
Absolutely. We basically, so if you mentioned about that, while I didn't know that we'll be discussing about that, but I'll just tell you quickly. What we do in the Cloud Kitchen Challenge is that we share a step-by-step process for how someone can start a cloud kitchen business in less than 30 days. So it's a 5-day implementation-driven challenge. जहाँ पे on a daily basis you get a certain content on a particular topic, and then we give you a challenge along with that, a task to be done on a daily basis, just so that you start implementing things. And on a daily basis we have a question and answer session wherein which you can ask your questions to the team, and we'll be more than happy to answer you. But in those 5 days you understand in a crisp way that how you can start your cloud kitchen business in less than 30 days. So that's what we do typically.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Like, because
Yeah,
of the experience, only people will be like, it will be learned, because experience, practical
absolutely.
will be like learned instead of only being theory. That's good.
Agreed. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, like,
Absolutely.
what's the opportunity and the growth in this industry? Like, for example, I'll tell you one thing is like, अभी पहले मतलब कैसा था, होटल रेस्टोरेंट में we'll go then sit, मतलब वहाँ बैठ
Hmm.
के आराम से खाते
Hmm.
थे with the
Hmm.
parents and family, friends, whatever. And then it changed to like घर पे बुलाते, like home delivery, and then food truck. Like, how it's going to be
Hmm.
the next 5-10 years?
This is not me who's saying this, but this is what HT Mint says. HT Mint says that the cloud kitchen industry is supposed to grow 5 times in the next 5 years. Now, come to think of it, 5 times is basically 500% growth, which is 100% year-on-year growth. Now, my point of telling you this is that this is the only industry, including a pharmaceutical and a PPE, which is personal protective equipment industry, which is growing at that particular pace. There is no other industry growing at that particular pace right now. It is also pegged to be a $1 billion market by the end of 2021, which is less than a year. Now, $1 billion is actually 7,500 crores.
Exactly.
Now, imagine the kind of market size I'm trying to tell you. Now, while I say that, I also want to bring in a caution that all that glitters is not gold. I want to just give you practicality that the market is huge, the potential is there, everything is there. That's why we are having this discussion right now. But the point is, it needs some fundamental basis of running and starting this business. Otherwise, there's no point, like I said, right? But it is, like I said, it's the fastest growing industry in current times, and there's an opportunity for everyone. If he actually follows the right steps of starting this particular business. That's what I can say. Yeah.
No. So, like, Manvi, do you even teach or train to open multiple stores like franchisee?
So I'll tell you, franchisee is just one of the models, of growth. I always share so to answer your first question about teaching and coaching, like I said, I do it out of passion, and it's not my bread and butter. My bread and butter is more comes from my hospitality ventures and my investing activities. But we just recently post the book, which we had launched. We really found that a lot of these entrepreneurs needed our support, and that's when we thought of giving back to the community, and that's where, yes, we are helping a lot of cloud kitchen owners really build value. So we work in two capacities. One is in capacity of trying to basically impart them with, like I shared the cloud kitchen challenge with you. There's something called the cloud kitchen mastery program which we have. We are also coming up with a different course on the catering industry, how someone can start a home catering business. So like I said, we have a lot of these edutech initiatives, which we are coming up with. And the second aspect is basically that we already have a fund which is which is a consortium of people who've come together and who are investing into cloud kitchen startups. Now what we're doing is we just made two new investments recently, but the idea is that these are the two forms we are able to understand. One is about imparting information and knowledge, and the second is investing into these startups. Third, like you mentioned, which you are mentioning about, is basically doing consulting. Now consulting can be basically in terms of what you said, helping people multiply the kind of outlets they have, probably get into franchising. Like I said, we are refraining from doing consulting right now because that needs a different kind of a mindset overall. But coaching is what we're really focusing on. And in our sessions, what we try and tell them is that you don't need a consultant to actually scale up your business. What you need is the right guidance, and that is what we offer. Because sometimes consulting can be a double-edged sword for a lot of entrepreneurs, because consulting typically, as a nature of the type it becomes expensive for a lot of people. So we help a lot of people, and like I said, franchising is one of the routes. Sometimes it is to do with venture capital, wherein which they can sell their equity. Third can be getting in brand collaborations, and fourth, like I always say, is to create a lot of equity in the business, which is basically doing great sales, build a lot of customers around that, and sell it on a as is basis. So, like I said, franchising is one. Besides that, we tell them the three other ways in which they can start making money through their particular cloud kitchen. So, to answer your question simply, we do all of that, but that's just one part of it, franchising. There are other three ways also wherein which we try and coach them on.
Yeah. Got. Like you are from Delhi, right? So
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm from Hyderabad. So have you ever visited Hyderabad? Like
absolutely, I've done a lot of events out of Hyderabad. I think GMR Arena was one of the locations. Gachibowli Stadium.
Yeah.
I am very well versed. I just love the city of Hyderabad. I think the entire area of Hyderabad, the moment you reach there, there's a different feel to it. And like I said, it's that I would say ultra modern city which anyone would actually wouldn't think of in a place like India relatively. But like I said, it's a beautiful place. I love the place near that Charminar area and so on and so forth. I mean, like I said, we do a lot of events out of Hyderabad. We also made a small office, but now because of the lack of volume, we try to shut that down. But I love the place of Hyderabad. So cheers.
like whenever you visit next time, so let me know.
Yeah,
I would gladly.
absolutely. We'll look forward. Like I said, Hyderabad has a very, very special place for us, and more than happy to probably connect and take it forward. Yeah. Tell me, please.
Like Manvir, as you discussed, like in prayer about the niche, micro niche, and something. So as what I got is like niche, मतलब something very particular, micro niche or category, and go in depth there. Like for example, अगर आपका पास सिर्फ समोसे का है, so अलग-अलग समोसे, डोसे का है तो only अलग-अलग डोसे.
Absolutely.
So like,
absolutely.
Can you brief way? I know you have some detail about this niche in your course, but can you give how can someone find the niche? Because like वो सोचेंगे कि मैं डोसे में भी अच्छा हूँ, यहाँ पे डोसा भी बिकता है, यहाँ पे छोले भटूरे भी अच्छे हैं. Like how
biryani बिकती है. I think Hyderabad, I meet everyone wants to say I want to start biryani. Everyone. I meet any person in Hyderabad and he tells me that I want to open a biryani cloud kitchen. Now, like you rightly mentioned, that is one of the biggest concerns for a lot of young entrepreneurs is to really figure out what is their niche. And to that, I tell them is to assess basis 2-3 things. Okay. First and foremost is understanding the target market which they have. Because like I said, everyone knows whom they can sell to. I like, for example, as a company, my parent company, Night Gourmet, we understood from day one as part of a catering unit that it was very difficult for us to sell to a wedding client. So what we did was we tried to focus on the corporate and the live events market. You understand? Likewise, in the cloud kitchen space, you have to understand that who's your target market. It's the corporate guys, it is the residential guys, and if you have between these two, if you get a chance, what is the kind of actual target market which you're trying to fix based on the income scale. Now, why I say based on the income scale is because your actual pricing will be defined by that. Now, nobody will spend 500 rupees for a dosa. You don't understand that. But people might spend 400 rupees for a biryani. You understand?
Yeah.
So, likewise, depending first on your target market and his paying capacity, you first focus on that what is the kind of customer you think personally that you can target, and you will have a network of that depending on your existing skill set. Because sometimes when you're starting out, you also need to assess that what if my Swiggy and Zomato and these aggregator strategy does not work out, what else can I do to actually stay afloat in the business? You understand?
Yeah.
Second part is to actually understand that what is the gap in the market. Now, because you're from Hyderabad, I'll take the example of a place like Cyberabad, which is right next to the cyber city area. Now, you'll find multiple cuisines there. You'll find multiple cuisines there. Yeah. Now, the challenge for a lot of people would be that I have people from every cuisine here, but if you see all of the cuisines which are right next to the cyber city are all very, very budget friendly, are very cost conscious. So that basically means that there is a potential of opening an aspirational brand there. Aspirational brands से मेरा मतलब क्या है? देखो तीन type की pricing होती है. One is the budget pricing, which is what I was trying to tell you, which is somewhere around 250, 300 rupee APC, which is like average ticket size per customer, which we are looking at. You understand? And aspirational is something wherein which you're targeting 5 to 600 rupees, 700 rupees per customer, and ticket size. And the premium is one wherein which you're looking at 1,000 rupees. So there'll be a big audience, and I would say a specific niche of audience which you can target on in the aspirational category, who don't mind spending slightly more if they get a better quality and a better packaging experience. You understand? So
Yeah.
second is to understand that where do you see is the gap in the market. Likewise, had you been in a place like Jubilee Hills, you would not really want to, because Jubilee Hills is full of all these, all these, I would say very very high-end restaurants.
Yeah.
So probably having a budget segment there for people living around can be a good option. So I always say that have a contrarian view towards the market. And that's why, we have a detailed module. I can't, like I said, it'll be too detailed for us to do it. I don't mind sharing it, but it'll be too detailed. And the third and the most important is to understand what is the kind of menu or the kind of cuisine you think. So I told you the first one was to evaluate the kind of market you're targeting. Okay, the target market. Second, I told you is to understand the gap in the market. And third is the staff availability. Staff availability is something very critical initially, because a lot of entrepreneurs, who are starting out, who don't have any F&B knowledge, they really need to, they can't have an Amritsari chole kulche when they don't have a staff availability of that in their particular vicinity. So sometimes it's very important for you to either work with a consultant in that case, or with I would say, within a market wherein which you think that you'll be easily able to get hold of a staff if he or she, in case if he or she moves out because of any reason, for that matter. So if you look into these three categories, once you have clarity on these three elements, you can easily start building your niche accordingly. So like you mentioned about samosas, why I told you about, it was a very good example you said. So there's a brand called Samosa Party which just raised some funding in Bangalore. And what they're doing is they're doing 60 kinds of samosas. That's very easy for people in Hyderabad also to probably find a samosa chef, because that's the most conventional recipe. But just play around with the fillings. You understand? Likewise, if you just build a brand around paranthas, okay, now that's just easy. But for example, if you try to build a brand around sushi, or probably a Pan Asian brand, and you want to build a slightly high-end brand, for that matter, then you have to plan for it that uski staff ki availability kya rahegi and mere paas kya capability hai. Because sometimes, your location also depends. If you are sitting in Hyderabad, and if you are sitting in that location wherein which you can easily attract chefs, then starting that kind of a brand is easier. Because something which a lot of people don't tell you is 60% of the restaurants typically shut down because of staffing issues. Because staffing becomes a major concern for a lot of people. So if you look at these three categories, you'll be easily able to figure out your particular niche. So that should not be a concern irrespective. Okay.
Got it. Nice. Actually, there are a few questions left. In that, there is one question about staffing also. But before that, this is one thing is like, what are the important things to be known in this food industry? Some unknown things, if you don't know. If someone who is entering, not a layman, someone who is entering.
Absolutely. The first thing, the number one thing I tell before anyone who starts this particular business is, and it's basically, I would not say the first thing you should know, but I would say the first thing anyone should break his or her myth about is, the first myth is that you have to be a chef or a hotel management graduate to start a food business. That's the number one myth. I see a lot of wannabe food entrepreneurs not starting up because of this particular misconception they have. Guys, you don't have to be a chef or a hotel management graduate to do this business. What you need is I would say hardcore business skills, and second, common sense. But the problem with common sense is that common sense is not common, and that is where a lot of entrepreneurs go for a toss. eventually you need to understand that when you're an entrepreneur, you are basically a, basically you are that force who's managing people rather than doing the work yourself. And that is why I say that the culinary skills the chef will bring in, the management skills the manager will bring in, your job has to be to manage and hold that team together. That is what your skill set has to be about. Now, coming, so like I said, the first myth is about that. Second myth is that you need a lot of money to start this particular business. Guys, the good aspect about the cloud kitchen industry and I would say the home chef search, like I said, is it's a relatively capital light, capital non-intensive business. So you can start your business with minimal capital also. But like I said, you need to start with the right reasons. This is which I would say is the point number three. A lot of people think food business is a vanity business. Vanity business matlab kya ho gaya ki it's a show off business, right? And everyone wants to say that I run a food business. It's such a sexy thing to do.
Kind of
Guys,
cool.
it's not. Yeah, it's a cool business, guys. It is not a cool business. It is a cool business when you start making money, when your fundamentals are set, and when you are seriously adding value to your customers. It is a sexy business then, but before that it's not a sexy business, guys. So anyone who thinks that, because I see a lot of people entering my community telling me that, Manvir, I am looking at hiring the best manager, the best chef, and I want everything to work on autopilot. Guys, there's nothing called autopilot in the first 6 months of your business. Okay, I still have to go to my sites, I still have to manage a lot of stuff, but like I said, the teams take care of things at the ground level. But you have to be personally involved. This is not a passive income business, it's an active income business. You have to be actively involved into this business. So third myth is that please don't consider this to be a vanity business. ये show off का business नहीं है, ये hard work का business है. And if your hard work is genuinely there, you'll start making some good money, which will show you returns. Fourth and most important, like I always keep telling people, that when you're starting a food business, always focus on understanding that every business, if you're doing a food business, it does not have to be a B2C, it does not have to be a B2B, it has to be a mix of both. Nowadays, businesses which are in the hybrid mode kya hota hai ki thoda sa B2B or B2C, you have to manage your business in a manner, because a lot of people think, like I said, the first thing I told you was that a lot of people think that by listing on Swiggy and Zomato, you will start making money and you will become that rich guy which you always wanted to be. I keep listening to these random webinars which keep coming in front of me of a lot of cloud kitchen guys telling me, start making lakhs by investing into cloud kitchen. And I'll tell them, was this absolute bullshit, because you will not make money if you're trying to only focus on Swiggy and Zomato, which is your B2C customer. You always need to have a B2B element, which is to do with bulk orders, with respect to catering as part of your orders, to monetize and hedge your business completely. Because, like, I'll give you an example. The best example is someone like me. One of the reasons why we invest into retail businesses is because we understand that catering is a seasonal business, but it's a very high profitable business. But during the lean seasons, we need something or the other to keep running, just so that our staff and our team remains with us. So these are the four elements. I always tell people that these four elements, if you keep in your mind, you'll have much more strength over your particular business. You'll be much more agile and you'll be much more focused. And like I said, just break these myths which are surrounding you about the food business. It can be a very lucrative business, but start for the right reasons. That's what I can say.
Got it.
Okay.
I guess someone must pause this, and it takes a good time to consume this so good content. It's really good.
You want me to summarize that? I can summarize it for you.
No.
But like I said, these are very, very important points, because I definitely feel that one of the most important things which a lot of my mentors also told me was to figure out the why before getting into the what and how. Because if you don't figure out the why, somewhere or the other you lose track. And that is why in my community also have a formula. I have a process of something called a goal card, which is absolutely mandatory. That everyone needs to know where they're going. If you don't know where you're going, you will somewhere or the other get lost. And that's what I don't want for people. Yeah. So that's it.
Actually, I have one or two personal questions which I'll ask at the end
Yeah,
of. And
no problem. Please
the second
tell me.
second last question is about the chef. Like chef
Yeah,
plays a very important role in this industry. Like
yeah.
that comes difficulties. Like they may leave and go, and sometimes we need to listen to their demand also. Like this happened, right?
Absolutely, this happens. I'm a chef myself. I've trained as a chef to know that yes, it's a tough job being a chef. It's a very, I mean, when you're a chef, you hold a lot of responsibility, and it's a very noble profession.
Mm.
I absolutely have utmost respect for my community, but like I said, the times as a businessman or as an entrepreneur, what you need to really realize is that when you're starting your food business, your dependence on the chef has to be reduced to a level of minuscule. Okay, because if you don't do that, you're up for trouble. That is why this concept of something called a chefless kitchen has come into being. Okay. Now, what is a chefless cuisine? A lot of people tell me, give me jargon, we'll get robotics, we'll do this, we'll do that. Guys, cut the crap. Okay. Let's focus on what we can do as normal, sane individuals like you and me. इंसानों जो इंसान कर सकते हैं और रोबोट जब आएंगे तो आएंगे जब तक रोबोट्स नहीं आते तो the process is only one. Let's start documenting your recipes. Start building USPs and intellectual property around your food. Your chef will be as good as the recipes you make. I always keep saying that to everyone I meet, that food is nothing but it is the ingredients, the quality of the ingredients, and the method of cooking. Okay?
Hmm.
अगर इन दोनों को मैच कर दिया साथ में तो आप you tell me that probably I've had this amazing dal bukhara at a bukhara restaurant. I think nobody can make as good dal makhani as them. I absolutely will disagree. Why? Because I know that he's also following a recipe. I have my friends in Dubai, who follow even the salt they put by the grammage. They have a wing scale right next to them whenever they're cooking, right? So my point is, food is to a large extent a science, and the art is in the plating. I always say that art is in the plating, but वो जरूरी नहीं है हर केस में, ठीक है? But like I said, the more you document, the more you reduce your reliance on the chef and you build a chefless model. That is what I call as a truly independent and a robust cloud kitchen or an F&B business. And like you said, chefs are absolutely critical. They are the minds behind it. But you as a smart entrepreneur needs to understand that you have to save your restaurant from any sort of, I would say, uh, any sort of exit which happens in the process of your business, and you don't want to shut shop. Because if your chef goes and if he had everything in his mind, I'm telling you, your lakhs of money will go to dogs in no time. So this is a very critical aspect I recommend every food entrepreneur to know about. Yeah.
Totally 100% agreed. And this is why, like, wherever in India we travel to any KFC or McDonald's, it's the same taste.
Absolutely, what they say is, like I said, it is about building an intellectual property. What is intellectual property? Key, the challenge is not making fried chicken. The challenge is making a fried chicken consistently hundreds of times, doing it at scale across hundreds of locations. That is what the challenge is. If you see, a McDonald's is not making money on the basis of the kind of burger they sell. Of course, we know that they don't sell the best burgers, but yes, for the price, they serve the best burgers. And that is why, because they have built a process around that. And that is what works for them. So, like I said, it's all in the process, overall. It's consistency, it's about building recipes, and it's about scaling it up once you have the recipe in place. That is what is a chefless model. Chefless model is not working without chefs. It's about working without the discretion of the chef. You understand? You
Right.
still need some sort of chefs or individual helpers to do the work, but at all times, if your recipes are documented, you run a chefless kitchen to a large extent.
Got it.
Okay.
You know what, Manvir ji, it's like मेरे को और सुनना है, मतलब सुनते रहना है मुझे. Seriously, that
No,
good.
no, I understand.
And I had last
Yeah.
question that also you have answered regarding like the few tips about and the strategies to attain these chefs, and that's a really good thing which you told. Valid and very value, like it's very to the point. That's it. Have taken actually an hour of yours. Thank you so
No
very
problem.
much for your detail, like to the crisp, to the point from the starting,
Mhm.
and you have like given very good 2 points. Actually, if any viewers, you must actually watch again to actually
Mhm.
consume this content rightly. Okay, if you are very serious about your business, and seriously, if you are very serious about your business, then you must surely go and check out his 5-day workshop, and you will
Sure.
surely see the changes. And there is a person in front of you who's taking a guarantee. So, guys, that's it from my side. See you in the another one.
Great.
Until then, take care, keep smiling. Bye bye from Amit Mundada and from